Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news in the NBA today involving my hometown, of course, in New York, but we talking Brooklyn. The Brooklyn Nets have made a move in Jacque Vaughn. Jacque Vaughn is on his way out the door. I'm gonna try to be nice, because we all know if you've been living under a rock, all access Dex and Jacque Vaughn have a beautiful relationship. But at the end of the day, it's Flight Sports TV. We can't pull no punches. You know, listen, Mikal Bridges, he completely tore apart Jacque Vaughn's offense. He was clearly upset with the schemes, the systems. We're gonna break it all down. But when you have Mikal Bridges, well, most will say the face of the franchise, um, coming out saying this, it's not a good look. And you just lost by 50 points to the Celtics. It was the Celtics. I can see if you lost to Memphis, but we act like Boston ain't got a high-powered offense, and we act like Brooklyn is just a little. They need to make some adjustments. We're gonna break it all down. But the Brooklyn Nets did announce today that they have fired Jacque Vaughn. And this is being reported everywhere. He was relieved of his duties, and the interim head coach will be named in the near future. So they don't have an interim. So they clearly let the whole staff go. The Nets are promoting assistant coach Kevin Ollie, pardon me, to replace Vaughn on an interim basis for the rest of the season. Ollie, the former UConn head coach, joined the team as an assistant last summer. The Nets right now are 21 and 33 and are currently 11th in the Eastern Conference race. And to be honest with you, they've been struggling, but they right there. I think that if they could get a coach in here, they could salvage something. You're 11th in the East. I forgot it was a playing situation. So at the end of the day, a coach coming in is optimism, but they do need to put some better pieces around Mikal Bridges and just better pieces in general. They coming off of a high, of when they had Kyrie Irving and company and all that. That era is over with. They got these guys now. They gotta figure out what they're gonna do. And it's time to move on. I think Jacque Vaughn, unfortunately, he was a part of the Kyrie and all of that. Even like I said, it wasn't Nash, but I mean, you still was. It's time to clean up all that. Unfortunately, but Jacque Vaughn, he gonna take the brunt of this. I'm pretty sure if Jacque Vaughn had a high powered offense, if he was coaching the Celtics, it'd be a different ball game. But it is what it is at the end of the day. Jacque Vaughn is on his way out the door in Brooklyn, New York, and it says it's being reported not only Mikal, but several players have lost confidence in Jacque Vaughn. The Nets' last game before the All Star break was the last straw. There was an embarrassing 136 to 86 loss. Um, and that was sad. Vaughn had been with the Nets since 2016 when he was hired to be part of Kenny Atkinson's coaching staff. Prior to that, he spent several years as the head coach for the Orlando Magic, then served as a scout for the San Antonio Spurs after he was fired in 2015. With the Nets, Vaughn spent the vast majority of his time as an assistant before being named, the interim head coach after the firing of Nash back in November 2022. Just 8 days later, Nets removed the interim from his title and made him the permanent head coach. He departs the Nets with a 64-65 record. And the Nets' next game will be against the Toronto Raptors. They just bought out Dinwiddie. Well, like I said, Dinwiddie is gone. It's a wild situation. What's going on? Out here. With the Toronto Raptors game coming up. Um, at the end of the day, I don't even think it matters necessarily who's coaching. You know, it's all about they need to get us better talent. Just this is all I can say, man. I can't really. get into all of the crazy stuff. I just feel like if they upgrade the talent, I think that's gonna set them up. Until then, I think that there's just gonna continue to be trouble. At the end of the day, it's just gonna be trouble, man. But it is what it is at the end of the day. I meant to, the Nets actually they dealt Spencer Dinwiddie. At the deadline, like I said, the Nets was active. The Nets found a taker for Dinwiddie. He was unhappy. He got sent to um, Toronto for Dennis Schroeder. And they continued. It's a wild situation that's going on right now. And clearly, like I said, they made some adjustments. I mean, at the end of the day, I really don't know what's going on in the direction of. I really don't know what's the direction of the Toronto Raptors. Pardon me, of the Brooklyn Nets. Excuse me. I'm gonna get mixed up with Dennis Schroeder and Toronto. Excuse me. But I really don't know what's going on with the Brooklyn Nets. I feel sorry for Jacque Vaughn. Because Jacque Vaughn, I think, got dealt the raw hand off jump from his coaching. The first time I remember Jacque Vaughn is when he took over that Orlando job, and he was in a tough spot. I hope Orlando could show him some love because he got put in the rocky road and he was set up for failure off rip. Basically Dwight Howard, he didn't want to be there no more. He's coming off Stan Van Gundy. Stan Van Gundy drove him to the ground. So here comes Jacque Vaughn coming in, and Dwight don't want nothing to do with him. So that screws him. He ends up never, getting the opportunity to do anything with Dwight Howard. And his whole coaching career is just set off the back burner, off rip. He's just set behind the 8 ball. And he obviously led to him being fired up there in Orlando because he was brought in to coach Dwight Howard. He was not brought in to coach a horrible team. They brought him in with the notion of he'll be able to keep Dwight Howard, and that didn't happen. He took over a Brooklyn team, with a lot of pressure. You got Durant, you coming off of the Harden situation, Nash. I mean, it's a mess. I just wish that he got an opportunity to, like some of these other coaches, to breathe a little bit. I think Jacque Vaughn need to come in and coach a young team where the pressure ain't sky high. And I think Jacque will be okay. But he's definitely should be there's a place for him in this coaching in the NBA. This isn't the last that we've seen of Jacque Vaughn, in my opinion, but it's the last of him in Brooklyn, New York. I'm gonna leave it at that. Mikal Bridges, he's got a lot to prove too. You're out there hanging out with your boys, your boys from the Knicks. At some point, it's gonna be time for you to do your thing. But the Nets, man, it's time to go. Now let's figure out what they're gonna do with Mr. Jacque. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's Flight Sports TV.